watching The Buzz with Jess Lujan.
We're talking about Bill 141-33 introduced by Senator B.J. Cruz in regards to raising the age of smoking cigarettes or even buying cigarette products from 18 to 21. Of course, I've got Tyra Tibbett here, who's a graduate student at the University of Guam. Works at the court system here in Guam, right? Of course, Dr. Ron McNitch, everybody knows Dr. McNitch, and also Leo Manabusan, graduate student at the University of Guam. And also, you were saying earlier, Leo, you taught or are teaching math at the University of Guam?
From developmental math to Calculus 3.
To Calculus 3. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Calculus 3. Can you teach Calculus?
No way.
No way, okay. But your student is able to teach,
yes.
Okay? He just turned 21. I would assume at this point that, I mean, when he was teaching, he wasn't maybe quite 21. It was maybe 19, 20 years old when he was teaching that. Obviously, the university saw his, his abilities to be able to teach math.
But he wouldn't be smart enough to smoke a cigarette.
But wouldn't be smart enough to be able to make that decision anyway. To make that decision, okay, to do that. And so that's what gets me. I mean, you're in the legal system. You see people coming up in here. I mean, and what's going to happen? I mean, you're working in the courts. You're seeing what was once once will be again law-abiding citizens. Now they're going to be again probably going into paying fines and things of that nature because now they got caught smoking and all that. How do you feel about that?
I think it's going to add an unnecessary burden on the system if people start getting prosecuted for breaking the law by smoking. So.
Yeah. Again, you guys are non-smokers, and this is really again not so much the smoking aspect or about cigarettes. And to me, it's more than that. To me, I feel it's an assault on people's intelligence, like yourself. I mean, I would trust you. I would trust you. If one of my kids were going to your class, I trust you that they will learn something from you. I would trust you that you're giving them good advice. But would I be able to enforce the fact that you're not 21 yet, and I see you taking a puff, that I can go up there and say, yeah, Leo, I gotta cite you for this, man, because you don't have good judgment. And basically, that's basically what the premise of this thing is basically people not making good judgment, health issues, and all that. And to me, when someone goes to war, I mean, we see again a lot of these people coming back from war, from conflict, maybe not physically disabled, but have some mental issues at this point. And what more pressing issue than to have some disability mentally because you've probably never even heard a firecracker go off, that yet alone maybe see a friend of yours get blown up or whatever it may be, so traumatic. And yet I'm saying, go out, thank you very much. I treat you as a hero coming back here. We wave at you, we give you these care packages because you are a hero. But as soon as I see you taking a puff, as soon as I see you taking a beer, you're not quite 21. I'm ready, we're there, the nanny state is ready to cite you for an offense.
My big question is, why do we even let 18-year-olds vote? Why don't we change the voting age to 21?
Yeah.
And we can do it. We're U.S. territory. Yeah. We don't have to follow all constitutional sides. We can ask the Congress to exempt us from the 26th Amendment as a territory and let us try it out. Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't have adulthood at 18. It should be 21.
Yeah, that's all or nothing, because this to me is cherry picking. Whenever we feel they're old enough at 18, okay, but they're not old enough, let's make it 21. It's kind of like a Guam status when, sometimes we're international, sometimes we're domestic. On the same plane, the mail that we send is domestic, we're international. So it's kind of...
I mean, why should we have 18-year-olds voting?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're not going to treat them like everyone else.
That's right.
And why are we having 19-year-olds voting or 20-year-olds voting? Make it 21. Just set it at a normal rate. Everybody knows what the number is and everyone can follow it. And we need to ask ourselves these hard questions.
As a matter of fact, you're familiar with this. There have been some candidates whose petition packages are not allowed to seek public office because they had maybe some offenses I guess moral turpitude and all that, and they were 18, 19 years old, okay? And of course, we can say they were young and you know, didn't really know, you know, the repercussions and all that, right? But this followed them on because they're 18 above. So now you were an adult when you did this. So we're not going to allow you to seek public office because you had this, that, you know, we have that moral turpitude. What's the interpretation of moral turpitude? So I know of, I think, 2 candidates right off the bat recently that one wasn't allowed to vote, one earlier, I mean, of course, was taken out of office for something that they had done really early in life.
This week, a young woman is getting out of jail. She was sentenced, I think, to life in prison when she was 12 years old. Mm-hmm. And now she's, I think, almost 30 or a little bit over 30.
Was she charged as an adult?
She was charged as an adult, processed as an adult, and treated as an adult at 12 years old by the criminal justice system. Mm-hmm. And just now, she's the youngest person ever to be convicted in this sort of way to finally get out of jail. I think she's right at 30 or 31. And just a very tragic story. But the point that I'm trying to make is we've got to make up our mind when a young person's an adult and when a young person's a child, and how do we differentiate between them in a number of respects.
Well, actually, I mean, and it's it doesn't jive as well because you can vote when you're 18. Now you can't drink till you're 21, and we're trying to move towards 21 and smoking. You can vote, but you're not mature enough to run for public office until you're 25.
Our class studied a very interesting case, and the case was from 1976. It's called Craig versus Boren. And the Craig versus Boren case, basically, Oklahoma tried to say girls can drink at 18, but guys have to wait until they're 21 to drink.
Because the girls mature faster.
Number of reasons. And so the U.S. Supreme Court said no. I mean, you can't be making laws like this. This is in 1976. We need to have important community discussions along those same lines. And to be frank, I didn't complain about it because really I don't view it as a policy issue at the time that I need to deal with. I probably feel the same way about the alcohol age at 21. Sure. I don't believe Japan's alcohol age is 20. That's a major source for our tourists. Korea's alcohol age minimum age for drinking is 19. We need to have very important discussions about when is an adult an adult and when is a child, and where are the gray areas. And it should be a very thoughtful discussion because otherwise what we do is the point that Tyra made. We shove these activities into the shadows and young people do them in the worst sorts of ways in the worst sorts of places.
Now, Tyra and Leo, at this point, you're both your 20s, early 20s. You can get married now without your parents' consent. Now again, you can marry opposite sex or same sex now. Okay, you can do that. It says that consenting, you're consenting adults 18 and above. You consent and you can consummate a marriage. But again, in your honeymoon, when after your honeymoon and your wife or you need to take a smoke because of your activities, whatever they may be, you can't do it. The cops will be getting ready to cite you because although you're a married person and you're not quite 21, can't make a very good judgment there.
There's a big list here. 18-year-olds can marry. 18-year-olds can form a contract and buy things, get credit. 18-year-olds can join the military without their parents' permission. 18-year-olds can move out of their parents' house and live independently and freely and never have another relationship with anyone in their family
Sign
again.
Contracts, yeah.
And well, there can be completely independent.
Sure.
And yet, there are things that we're saying that 18-year-olds can't do, and that's an important discussion.
And that's my point at this point. And as you said, the community needs to have a discussion. And what do we deem as an adult at this point? Because we're going back and forth as to when we think, and whatever suits our fancy, whatever. I mean, we wake up one morning and say, hey, they're not old enough for this, but I think they're old enough for this. So
there's another little point. If the issue is, we got to keep young people who are in high school from smoking, whatever. If a